You are 40 years old. Your company just folded, not slowly, not gracefully. In a single Thursday afternoon, phone call with a lawyer whose hourly rate you can no longer afford. 11 years, gone. The business you built in your living room. The business you missed your daughter's first steps for. The business that consumed every friendship that couldn't survive being deprioritized. Gone. Not because you weren't good enough, because the market shifted and you didn't shift faster, and by the time you saw it clearly, it was already over. You sign the paperwork. You drive home. You sit in your car in the driveway for 22 minutes. You count them. Your bank account has $4,200 in it. You have a mortgage. 2 kids. A wife who is calm in a way that is somehow worse than if she were angry. She makes tea. She sits across from you. She doesn't say it will be fine. She says, "What's the plan?" You don't have one yet. This is what zero feels like the second time. The first time you were 23 and it was romantic, scrappy, a story you'd tell later. This time it's just weight, pure structural weight pressing down on every surface of your life. The first rule: losing everything at 40 is not the same as losing everything at 23. At 23, you have nothing to unlearn. At 40, everything you know is the thing that failed you. And you have to decide in a driveway in 22 minutes whether that destroys you or teaches you. You give yourself 72 hours, not to grieve. You'll grieve later. 72 hours to be completely honest about what actually happened. Not the story you'll tell people, the real one. You write it down? Longhand, 3 pages. You don't spare yourself anything. You were too slow to move to SaaS. You kept selling services when the market was rewarding software. You knew this 2 years before the end, and you chose comfort over correction because you had payroll and people depending on you, and the pivot felt too risky. The pivot was the only thing that would have saved you. You chose the thing that felt safe, and it killed the company anyway. Just slower. You read the 3 pages twice. You fold them. You put them in a drawer. That's the last time you look backwards. You take a job. This surprises people who knew you as a founder. It surprises you. A head of growth role at a mid-sized SaaS company, $130,000 a year. You haven't had a salary in 11 years. It feels like a uniform that doesn't fit. You take it anyway. Not for the money, for the access. You are going to learn how a real SaaS machine runs from the inside, and you are going to pay attention to every single detail of how they acquire, retain, and expand revenue, and you are going to say nothing about any of this to anyone. You become the most dangerous kind of employee, someone who isn't there for the career. 6 months in, you understand something you didn't understand before. Your old business sold time, consulting, projects, deliverables. Every dollar required a human doing something. That's why it could collapse. Remove the humans, remove the revenue. SaaS is different. SaaS sells a promise once and then collects on that promise every single month automatically while you sleep, while you grieve, while you sit in driveways counting minutes. The word that changes everything is recurring. You come home that night and you open a document and you write one sentence. What problem do I understand better than almost anyone alive right now? You stare at it. Then you write the answer. 11 years of agency work. You know exactly how agencies lose money. You know every operational inefficiency, every billing nightmare, every project management failure that bleeds margins silently every single month. You know the wound. You just need to build the bandage. You start building on weekends. Then at 5 a.m. before the kids wake up. Then during lunch at your desk with headphones on. Your wife knows. She doesn't ask daily updates. She asks once a week on Sundays over coffee. You tell her the truth. She nods. She goes back to her book. This is the kind of partnership that either survives what you're about to put it through or it doesn't. You know this. You don't say it out loud. You have a prototype in 4 months, ugly, unstable, crashes in 3 specific scenarios you haven't fixed yet. You show it to 6 people, former clients, people who paid you money for 11 years and know you're not an idiot. You don't pitch them. You ask them one question. Does this exist? 2 of them ask how much. You charge $200 a month. Not because that's what it's worth, because that's what you can defend in a 10-minute conversation with someone who's skeptical. You get 7 customers in the first 6 weeks. $1,400 a month recurring. The word hits different now. Recurring. It arrives on the first of the month without a phone call, without a proposal, without a project kickoff meeting. It just arrives. You sit with that for a long time. Your mortgage is $3,100 a month. You can see the number from here. The second rule, the first $1,000 in recurring revenue, is not money. It's proof. Proof that a stranger will pay you automatically every month for something you built once. Once you have proof, you have a company. Everything before that is a hobby with ambition. You quit the job at month 8, not because the software is ready, because staying is now costing you more than the salary pays you. You've learned what you came to learn. The rest is distraction dressed as security. $4,200 MRR when you quit. Monthly recurring revenue. Your new religion, your new bank balance check. You watch it the way you used to watch your old company's cash balance. But this number moves differently. It doesn't spike and crash with project cycles. It builds slowly, relentlessly, like water filling a room from the bottom. You have 22 customers. You know all of their names. You answer support tickets yourself. You do onboarding calls at 7 p.m. after the kids are in bed. You are not scaling yet. You are listening. Every complaint is a feature. Every cancellation is a lesson you write down and read back monthly. $11,000 MRR. 40 customers. You hire one person, a developer. Younger than you by 15 years. Better than you at the technical architecture by a distance you respect without ego. You give her equity, not a lot. Enough. This is the moment people get wrong. They hold equity like it's blood. It's not. Equity is the thing you use to make someone else care about the outcome as much as you do. Used correctly, it multiplies you. Hoarded, it just means you own 100% of something smaller than it should be. $19,000 MRR, then $28,000, then $41,000. You raise prices. Some people leave. More people stay. The ones who stay are the ones who were never price sensitive. You've accidentally found your real customer. You build for them exclusively. You stop caring about everyone else. The third rule, your product becomes powerful the moment you decide who it's not for. You are 43, $80,000 MRR, almost $1 million a year in recurring revenue. With a team of 4 people, you get inbound acquisition interest for the first time. A private equity firm. They send a deck. You read it on a Tuesday morning with coffee and you feel something complicated. Pride, wariness, the specific alertness of someone who has been in a room with a lawyer before and knows what documents feel like before they're signed. You don't respond for 11 days. When you do, you ask for a number you don't expect them to agree to. They counter. You're still in the conversation. That means the first number wasn't high enough. You walk away. Not forever, strategically. You have leverage now and leverage evaporates if you don't use it correctly. $140,000 MRR. You bring on a head of sales, someone who has done this before at a company that exited for $90 million. You pay her more than you pay yourself. You do this without hesitation. The fourth rule, hire people who have already been where you're trying to go. Their pattern recognition is the asset. The salary is just the access fee. The sales motion changes, not louder, tighter. Every conversation is now with someone pre-qualified. Your close rate goes from 18% to 41% in 1 quarter. $210,000 MRR, $210,000 every month, automatically. You are 44. You think about the driveway, the 22 minutes, the wait. You don't feel it anymore. You close a Series A, $6.2 million. You own 61% of the company after the round. You spent 3 months negotiating that number down from a term sheet that would have left you at 54%. 7% feels abstract until you understand what 7% of an exit is. You use the capital the way a surgeon uses a scalpel. Not broadly, precisely. Product, sales, retention. Everything else is noise. Your churn drops to 1.8% monthly. In SaaS, this is the number that makes investors religious. Low churn means the product works, means customers would miss it, means you've built something that has attached itself to how people operate. That's the moat, not the features. The dependency, $600,000 MRR. You are 46. You have not thought about your old company in 4 months. You notice this on a Wednesday and you sit with it for a moment. 11 years. And now 4 months of silence from that part of your memory. The fifth rule, failure has an expiration date, but only if you're moving fast enough that the past can't keep up. Your team is 34 people. You have customers in 19 countries. You have a competitor now, well-funded, aggressive, copying features 2 quarters after you ship them. You take this as information. It means you're ahead. It means you have to stay there. You ship faster. You talk to customers more. You build things the competitor can't copy because they don't have 11 years of understanding the wound. The acquisition offer comes back. Different firm this time. Strategic. A public company that wants your customer base and your retention profile more than your technology. The number has 8 figures. You read it once. You close the laptop. You go pick up your daughter from school. You hold her hand in the parking lot. She's 14 now. She doesn't usually let you hold her hand. Today she does. You don't think about the number for the rest of the afternoon. You negotiate for 60 days. You bring in a banker. You give up 3% of the outcome to have someone in the room who has done this 40 times. Worth it. Worth every basis point. You close at $47 million, your share after dilution. $26.4 million. Wired to an account on a Wednesday morning. Nothing ceremonial. An email confirmation. A number that sits there. You call your wife. She picks up on the second ring. You tell her. She is quiet for a moment. Then she says, "Okay, then do you want Thai tonight?" You say yes. This is what the end of the second act feels like. Not a parade. Thai food on a Wednesday. You are 47. You have $26 million and the specific clarity of someone who has lost everything and built it back and knows precisely what both feel like. You start writing checks into other people's companies, small ones. Founders who remind you of yourself at 40, sitting in driveways, counting minutes. You don't invest because you need the return. You invest because you remember what it felt like when nobody believed the number you believed in. You are in 6 deals. 2 will probably fail. 1 might return the fund. You know this going in. You go in anyway. The sixth rule. Above a certain level, capital is no longer the scarce resource. Judgment is. And judgment only comes from having been wrong in the specific ways that teach you how to be right. You are 51. Your net worth is $94 million. Not from the exit alone, from what the exit became when it compounded in the hands of someone who finally understood the game. You do not work in the way you used to work. You think. You advise. You sit in rooms with founders who are 28 years old and burning and certain in the way only people who haven't failed yet can be certain. You don't correct them. You ask questions. The right question at the right moment is worth more than any answer you could give. You know this because someone did it for you once. A 10-minute conversation at a conference in 2019, a year before the collapse. Someone asked you one question and you didn't know how to answer it, and you should have known and you didn't. You think about that question sometimes, how different the driveway might have looked. You let founders sit with the discomfort of the right question. You give them the gift of not knowing. Not yet. And somewhere right now there is a 40-year-old sitting in a driveway. The call just ended. The company is gone. 11 years. Thursday afternoon. They think this is the end of the story. It isn't. It's the most important data point the story has. The one that tells them everything they were doing wrong and hands them, for the first time, the specific clarity that only total loss produces. The machine doesn't care how old you are when you show up. It doesn't care that you've failed. It doesn't care about the driveway or the 22 minutes or the wait. It opens every morning, and it takes whoever shows up. And whoever shows up with the right wound, the right lesson burning underneath everything, the willingness to build again without the comfort of not knowing what failure tastes like. They compound. The loss compounds into knowledge. The knowledge compounds into leverage. The leverage compounds into something that gets wired to an account on a Wednesday morning, and somewhere a 40-year-old is still sitting in the driveway, counting minutes, Start the clock.